So this term in Pulse, we're going to be following the story of Moses and talking about how his life was changed and impacted through having a relationship with God. And through our Pulse film series, we're going to be interviewing different youth workers from across Merseyside and talking about how their lives were impacted by faith. So today I'm here with Rob. Rob, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Fantastic. Well, just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are and where you're from.
Okay, so I'm Rob, I'm 22 and I'm a Christian youth worker from West Cheshire for 3 churches.
Fantastic. So just a couple of questions to get us started then.
Okay.
Cheese and onion or salt and vinegar?
Salt and vinegar.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee, 2 sugars.
It's a popular one amongst youth workers. Ant or deck?
Let's go with Ant.
Strictly Come Dancing or The X Factor?
Strictly.
Shimmy.
Jimmy.
Trapped on a desert island and you can only download one album on Spotify, what would it be?
It's a tough one, but I think I'd go for War of the Worlds, A New Generation by Jeff Wayne.
Fantastic. Amazing. So now that we've got the serious stuff out of the way, let's talk a little bit more about your life personally.
Okay.
So at what point in your life did you first encounter God?
So I first became a Christian when I was 6 years old, but I think my first experience and encounter of God was when I was about 10. We went to a Christian camp in Wales called MTYC, and there we went down to a room called the Rec Room when we had our worship time, and there was a talk and there was prayers and there were activities and games and loads of different stuff for us to be involved in. And I was there with my friends and with my cousin, and even though we were there, I was disengaged with everything that was going on. I wasn't there in my mind. So actually I missed out on a lot of the things that were going on. I spent a lot of it worrying about different things. But I remember really specifically at the end of one of the evenings, I was sitting there at the back, and the guy who was leading the worship really challenged us to look at the words which we were singing and to think about it. And then shortly afterwards, I've just felt nudged and felt prompted to actually take a step back myself from everything that was going on. And just to see what was happening in that room, just to see what worship was like, and to actually read for myself those words that we were singing, and to look into them. And so the song that we were singing was called Heart of Worship. And when I focused, the words were, and I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you, Jesus. And I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing that I've made it, but it's all about you, Jesus. And so from that moment, I think something changed in me, and I was thinking about God, and I was thinking about his love and how that impacted my life. And I really do believe that from that moment, something in my heart changed, and my attitude changed towards God, towards church, towards being a Christian. And it really helped me to know what it meant as a Christian.
Wow, really amazing stuff. So since that moment then, how has God continued to impact your life?
Well, I believe that God's impacted my life in so many ways, in loads of big ways, lots of which I know, lots of which I don't. And so just to keep it brief, whenever I've faced a challenge or whenever I've had to go through something, I always come back to a verse in the Old Testament with a guy called Gideon. And basically he's a nobody, he's the weakest person in the whole land, yet God calls him to do something really, really big and really tough. And so Gideon says to God, how can I do it? And God says, just go in the strength that you already have, and I will be with you. And so that, for me, in every single thing that I do, I hope to go as I am, and just know that God will be with me.
Brilliant. A really, really encouraging passage for people to read there. And so my final question for you then is, if you could give any advice to the young people that are attending these Pulse groups, then what would that be? Okay,
so I'm going to go for 2 pieces of advice which I think are really important. Okay. Firstly, it's a bit cliche, but be yourself. I believe that God wouldn't have made you if he wanted you to be someone else.
Yes.
And secondly, remember that our faith isn't based on our feelings. Actually, we can know that God is with us and that God is working in our lives and doing good things for us, even though we can't necessarily feel him all the time. And we may doubt that he's there, but we can know that he is with us.
Great. Rob, well, thank you very much for that. Thank you for giving up your time to be here today, and thank you for sharing some of your story with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.